Good morning, students. How are you all? Today, we are going to start with a new chapter from the grammar textbook. That is about transformation. Transformation of sentences, we have to say it completely. Transformation means changing the form of a sentence without changing its meaning. Changing the form or structure of a sentence without changing its meaning. That is what is called transformation of a sentence. Okay. Now we have already done this a lot. Only thing not under this name. We have not learned them as transformation. We have learned them as changing a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, active voice to passive voice, changing of degrees of comparison, affirmative to negative or negative to affirmative. All these changes that we have learned, even simple complex compound interchanging, all this comes under this category. So we know it well. Only thing what we are going to do now is, under this category or under this heading transformation, we are going to redo it once again. We might become a little more closer or a little more aware about the rules of changing these sentences, that's all. It can easily be called a revision chapter of all those sentences that we have learned to change. I have told you, we studied one chapter on active passive voice. We studied one chapter on direct and indirect speech. We studied one chapter on affirmative to negative and negative to affirmative. We studied one chapter in simple complex compounds and its interchanging. So all these chapters put together, it is going to be a revision. Now in the beginning, I want to tell you one very important thing. When we change a sentence from one structure to another, one form to another, there are 2-3 things we should keep in mind. First and most important thing, the meaning is not changed. When we change a sentence from one structure to another, the meaning, if it changes, that means what we have done is not right. Now for example, when we say something in active voice and you change that into passive voice, if the meaning of the sentence in passive voice is not similar to that of the sentence in active voice, then what's the use of changing? Or we change a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, and if the meaning is changed, then why to do that? So that is the thing that we should keep in mind. When we change, we should not change the meaning of the sentence. Another thing, tense changes. You know, when the tense changes, meaning changes, isn't it? I normally and jokingly, funfully and all that say, I have a brother. Instead of saying that, if I say I had a brother, do you understand the difference? Only the tense change, that's all. All other things are fine. I have a brother, I had a brother. So that much of a variation or a difference in the meaning can come if you change the tense. Another thing, when we change a sentence from one form to another, we should try to make use of the given words in the given sentence or its various forms in the given sentence before bringing in new words from outside to make the new sentence. So the maximum use of the given words and its various forms are very important for us to have the sentence changed into the other format. Only when you don't find a suitable word from the various forms of the given words, you can think of bringing in a new words. So these 3 things we should keep in mind always. Okay. So just let's look at this lesson. I will be sending you the pages of this textbook, this chapter we are studying. But anyway, just listen. Transformation is a process of changing the form of a sentence without changing its meaning. Or we could say that it is a method of expressing the same meaning in a different way. Understand that? The same meaning in a different way. That means meaning should not change. Transformation of sentence is a useful exercise since it gives practice in framing different kinds of sentence. What is the use of doing transformation? It helps us in framing different types of sentences. I have told you this when I was teaching you about passive voice and direct speech and all. The monotony, the boring situation of writing, reading or listening to the same type of sentences, same kind of sentences can be removed when we have different kinds of sentences. Our command over the language, our ability to express things in different ways, all these are exposed if we are able to transform sentences properly and clearly. So these are all advantages of transformation. Now, interchanging of affirmative and negative sentences. Interchange of affirmative and negative sentences. These are done in many ways. A few of them we will see today. Okay? Interchange of affirmative and negative means affirmative making into negative and negative is being made into affirmative. This is done in many ways. And the first one is by removing or using to. I have come to the school so early. Sorry, that's wrong one. I am so tired that I cannot continue with my class. I am so tired that I cannot continue with my class. Now when we change that, we can change that into I am too tired to continue with my class. I am too tired to continue with my class. So that is changed into to. So that is what is by using to. Now by removing to. Those children are too small to do that work. Those children are too small to do that work. Those children are so small that they cannot do the work. Removing to. So we can change an affirmative into a negative or a negative into an affirmative by using this adverb TW. Is that clear? By using this adverb TW. Next one is changing the degree of comparison. Changing the degree of comparison. We have studied this quite a bit. Ramu is the tallest boy in the class. Ramu is the tallest boy in the class. No other boy in the class is as tall as Ramu. No other boy, negative. No other boy is as tall as Ramu in the class. So like that we can change the degrees of comparison. Okay, and what is given here, a few of them I will read. Using to, removing to. He is too fickle-minded to be trusted. Okay, a varying, changing and unsteady mind. He is so fickle-minded that he could not be trusted. He is so credulous that he can be easily deceived. He is too credulous not to be deceived. Next, changing the degree of comparison. The ostrich is the tallest bird in the world. No other bird in the world is so tall as ostrich or as tall as the ostrich. Okay. The ostrich is the tallest bird in the world, and no other bird in the world is so tall as the ostrich. Next, affirmative. Indore is more populous than Bhopal. Indore is more populous than Bhopal. Next, it's this one, negative form. Bhopal is not so populous as Indore. Bhopal is not so populous as Indore. So that's all by using comparative degree. Okay, the rest we see in the next class.